Hi, everyone. Sorry, it seems like I'm technically challenged with YouTube here, but I guess I'm creating new streams for Taylor to share at a later date. But, I hope everyone's safe out there in the quarantine, and hopefully this gives you a laugh. But I am ready to go to answer some questions live. Sorry, Taylor. But anyway, let's start off with the first one, which I already answered in my own little stream, but I'll do it again. But how do you make yourself feel more confident after a tough practice or game? So obviously in any practice or game, I want to compete at the highest level and I give 100, 110, everything I got. So as you are playing and maybe it's not up to your expectation, just make sure that you are giving your best, right? You want to leave the field every single day saying, yes, I gave my all. Thank you, Taylor, that I'm finally on this. I appreciate your help. But you always want to leave saying, I did everything I could, no regrets. And if you didn't do your best that one day, just give it your all the next day. Ask, coaches or something for our players some advice for what you can do better so you can improve your game, every day. Best defensive drill has to be footwork, footwork, footwork. I think any defender is going to tell you that. Obviously, we have to be just as quick and as strong as an attacker because we have to not only react but manipulate and try to deter the attacker from the goal or whatnot. So anything with the ladder, imitating the game itself, right? Try to figure out what you can do and what you need to work on and mimic the game itself. So get creative with that. My favorite is always just imitating a 1v1. So I like to go with a partner and try to force them in one direction and try to keep them that way. So as they're changing directions, I'm working on my footwork of beating them up, top side or whatever. So just working on those different game situations. During the quarantine, a lot of at-home stuff, obviously. Still working out a ton and, just trying to make myself better. But there's always busy work to take care of with our program that we have and trying to make sure that everyone is on task and, who knows what is to come for the future here. But hopefully everyone's staying safe and, that's all we can hope for now. How do you stay in shape for lacrosse season all year round is kind of similar to what you do in college. Try to implement, kind of that schedule, but always trying to stay busy, high intensity training. I have, some of the best strength coaches, Jay Dyer, a little shout out there, but, they always prepare us with some great programs and you just try to stay motivated on, the greater goal for yourself, but also it's great to have teammates all around the country. So this time in this quarantine, it's kind of a similar situation where we don't see everyone every day and maybe we're limited to what we can access, but we still have the support of each other and we're still doing that by reaching out and staying connected and, trying to hop on Zoom calls, but, just trying to stay busy and trying to stay as on task as possible. My favorite cleats are the Tiempo Nike soccer cleats. I wear ankle braces every day for practice and games and those are the cleats that really fit my feet the most, and especially in that situation where I have to wear those braces. My stick that I like to play with is either STX Crooks or the Fortress, and I prefer leather stringing because I just feel like it has a better hold for me as an individual, and it's easier for me to kind of control the ball. My go-to hairstyle has to be a bun on the top of my head. My teammate, Nicole Oss, actually helped me out in, I think it was like my sophomore year of college, and she would do my hair every game, and so grateful for her. She's a magician with hair. I think she had like a line of people every game day, and it was just a tradition and a superstition that we couldn't really, after winning games or whatnot, we couldn't, stay away from that. So she was busy every game day, but grateful for her, and obviously I've learned over the course of the years to do it myself, but she helped me, and it helps just keep all my hair out of this. Obviously I got a ton of it, so we want to make sure it's out of the way so we can perform the best we can. Concussions. Have you ever had a concussion? I don't think I have, so knock on wood, but You want to obviously be safe when you're playing any sport. There's also obviously that risk, and I know many people have had bad concussions, and it's really caused them, a lot of struggles throughout their academic and athletic, careers. And we just want to make sure that we're staying safe when we're playing, and protecting obviously the most important part of us, of that brain. So just be careful. Who inspired you to play lacrosse? So I grew up in an area that really didn't have it until my fourth grade, and it kind of came into our town as a rec program. And I was playing softball at the time, and my mom kind of pulled me out of that, or at the end of the season was like, "You're going to try this sport." And Carrie Chandler, if you're listening, she was my first coach, but she also introduced the sport to our area, and I'm forever grateful for her and what she brought here, because I fell in love with it immediately. So I'm so happy that it came in. I don't know if I'd be much of a softball player. Going through the recruiting process, I never really had a dream school. I never even knew that I could play at the next level. So, once, my coach said, you definitely have potential of playing, I kind of took the recruiting process a little bit more seriously. But as it was, happening, I was recruited by a few schools. It didn't match my goals academically at the time. I wanted to be a physical therapist, so I was really trying to focus on both the school and athletics, as well as matching that major. And I wanted to fall in love with the campus, what they offered, and obviously the team. So, in the middle of the process, I told my parents, I don't like any of these schools. I think it's difficult to match my major with what they want. Or what they can offer me, excuse me. So, my coach made a few phone calls, and they called Maryland, and, it's kind of, the rest is history. I went on to a clinic visit and an overnight visit, and, by the spring I was, committed to play at Maryland, and I was thrilled, and obviously it became my dream school, and I wanted to do everything I could to play at that next level. So obviously from there the work started, and I'm still hustling just like I did back then. Best experience with U.S. lacrosse. Every experience is special, but obviously the World Cup stands out. It was the most incredible experience I could have ever had, and I loved being with the girls for about a month, and competing and playing the sport we love with no distractions, and obviously winning the championship at the end is experience like no other, and representing the red, white, and blue has always been a dream come true for me. So that one definitely stands out. Hi, Lauren Lee. Let's see. So yeah, sorry about the delay here. I wish I was playing so I can use my extra year eligibility. Lauren Lee, do I trash talk? I think you know that I don't. I feel like I play a pretty clean game. I kind of like the battle, and playing smart and safe, and strong and aggressive within the lines of the game itself. But maybe to you next time we'll try that out. Who would I want to have a catch with? It's a good question. Let me think about that one. Right now, I would love to with Kobe Bryant. Obviously with everything that's happened, and just like his story and his presence, and what an amazing man. So if I could, that would be something incredible. Lauren, yeah, let's arm wrestle. Come on over. We'll do it in social distancing. We'll do it over a Zoom. That would be so fun. If you're an attacker and you want to increase speed, I'd say, obviously working on being explosive, adding in different things into your training, which is like resistance, like sprinting and running. You know, something I do is I do some sled drags and sled sprints, but you have to be able to practice 110% in any of those and increase the resistance so that you can, obviously build that power. Am I better at checking or playing the attack sticker body? So something I tell all my athletes or all my defenders really is I hate checking. It's not my favorite thing to do. Whenever I found myself checking, I found myself losing body positioning. So my priority is always body positioning. So I can kind of control the attacker or the offensive player and kind of keep them where I want them to go. And if that check does present itself, maybe I'll go for it, but I'd rather them feel pressure to make a pass and make a mistake than me risk losing that positioning for just a little check. So I did not become a physical therapist. I tried and interned in the summer after I graduated, and it was tough. Something that I love, like the athletic side of PT, but it was tough going to just like general population. So it turned into me now working with my best friend Alex Marino. We have our own training and club team called All Lax, and it's based out of Monmouth County, New Jersey. And it's probably the best thing that ever happened to us. A funny story is that we started just training, and Alex was like, we got to make a change here. I'm going to start a club team. If you're in, that'd be great. But if not, I'm going to do it anyway. So God bless her. I mean, I don't know what I'd be doing right now without her. So, we're all in it together and, hoping to inspire the next generation and, hopefully they have a similar experience that we had or, even better than what we have experienced so far. If you're a high school coach and you want to help motivate the girls, I think trying to put everything in perspective for them is the best thing. Obviously, seasons may be cut short or not happen at all. And, you have to tell them to find their goals of what they are looking for and what they're looking to achieve. And I think the best thing you can do is give each other like accountability partners or just try to include everyone as best you can throughout the week and give them little objectives so that they're on task for themselves and hopefully they can create more throughout the time. But we have to be extremely creative during this, and I think keeping the community alive is probably the best thing. Hardest thing about stopping an attacker, or what's the key to stopping an attacker, I think is knowing the personnel or knowing the person that you're guarding, but also just being like physically strong and mentally strong as well. I'll give an example. I've had to mark up on some of the best players, but one of them that I've lucky to be on the same team with now is Kayla Trainer, and she's probably one of the toughest people I've ever had to guard. But knowing what she does and her tendencies is helpful, but also expecting it and just being prepared for it. So I think for an individual 1v1 situation, focusing on just the fundamentals is key, but being confident in yourself as well. So, obviously watching hips, staying low, making contact. Like I'm sure everyone's heard the ABCs of defense, but, practicing it, over and over and over again will give you the confidence to play at that level. And when it counts, you'll be prepared. My favorite position hasn't always been defense. I actually played midfield in high school. I took the draw, I scored goals, and I always focused mostly on defense. So it was my priority. I found myself jogging into the offensive end if I wasn't pushing the ball up the field. And, I was always counting to make sure we weren't offsides because, if we have the ball, we're in control. And And if we don't, obviously we need to get back in. And I think my coaches at Maryland saw that in me, and it kind of transferred obviously to the field and to, the player I am now. And, I'm obsessed with defense. I think it's a challenge every day playing, and, it's really fun to try to stop some of the best players in the world from scoring goals and having opportunities. As I was playing and throughout the college recruiting process, I honestly didn't recognize if there were college coaches on the sidelines. I know it's a different day and age now, but I found myself not stressing about the process at all. I really focused in on like what I can do and how like our team is doing versus like my individual self. And I think that's really good advice for anyone that's in that process or going into it. Is you want to focus on how you can be how you can impact the game, but also how you can impact your team, and just focus on those little things versus like the big overall picture. Because once you take care of all of that, you'll definitely put yourself in a good position to get recruited, whether or not they're there. And if you start, playing mind games with yourself, you're kind of, struggling or in trouble, in the moment. So focus on the betterment of yourself, but also your teammates before worrying about, is that Division I college there looking at you. I think as a business owner, my family owns a seafood business, so I've always been a part of that mindset of working for yourself. It's fun, but it's also like a struggle because you have it on your head all the time. Like we wear many hats, Alex and I, and we're always thinking about what we could be doing, what else could we be thinking of, and helping for these girls, and just trying to prioritize certain things and staying organized. But I think sports really helps with that, keeping yourself on task and organized in what your goals are. So I think it translates very, very well. So keep playing those sports. Tips for middies, I think you probably know the answer, but just constantly practicing defense. I mean, the whole situation. Obviously, you're going up and down the field, so you want to build that endurance. But being as confident as possible as you can in yourself and the situations, and obviously practice those situations that you're in the most. So probably up top dodges and the things you do on offense, you want to try to prevent obviously on defense. So remember that you're kind of in a good position where kind of the best of both worlds. You know what an offensive player wants, so then flip the script, and you're going to know what you want to do on defense. So just continue to practice. Favorite part about being a U.S. athlete is just continuing to play and represent the country. I mean, that's been a dream of mine. When I was a kid, I wanted to go to the Olympics, and I didn't care what sport it was. And obviously that's still a dream of mine. I want to win gold or something in the Olympics. But participating in the World Cup has been, one of those check marks. And I never was like, throughout playing, I never was like, oh, I need to play on the national team. That never really was a thought. I would love it, and it kind of just presented itself as I'm working hard throughout my college career. So, it's good to have those dreams and those goals, and it's just little goals along the way will help you get there. Favorite Natty Champ game? Tough to say. Probably just like the first one. I thought it was super competitive, and it's just an undescribable experience. And being able to have two championships with the Maryland team, it's just memories that we'll have forever. So probably the first one, just because it's a little bit of a revenge from the year before, and same with 15. I mean, that's revenge from 13 with the triple overtime. So either one for sure. Getting beat on defense is hard. Yeah, it's not easy, but you have to sometimes just say, well done to whoever it was that played against you. I find myself doing that often, especially on the national team. There's plenty of good, attackers, middies, and, you have to give them props in the situation, and all you can do is just try to adjust something while you're playing and for the next time. So if you get beat up top, obviously you have to, shift your body a bit in your approach or whatever it is. So change something, right? Same thing if you overthrow a pass, you're not going to overthrow it again. You're going to change that pass. It's the same thing as you're playing on defense. My opinion on stick length in the women's game. Honestly, I've never really thought about this. I mean, obviously the men have defensive sticks and their long pulls and whatnot. I think based on the rules of our game, we have certain things that we have to abide by, and we can't necessarily check like the men. But I think depending on sizes of individuals, like if you're shorter or taller, the length of your stick will definitely help. And I think people do cut their stick to fit their profile, I guess. But I'm not sure if there should be a specific length based on position. I think it's all preference. Favorite moment from Japan. The whole experience was incredible, but I just think being a part of the Japanese culture was really special, and we got to tour the city and play with and against the Japanese athletes, and they just love sports, and they were so all in. The game was like raining all day. We still had people filling the stands and watching it on TV, and it's just really cool to kind of see their perspective of the game and how much they want to learn and kind of grow by watching us. And it's crazy to think that we're role models for these grown women, but everyone here in America is. It's really, really sweet. You guys have really good questions. When I was growing up, I played probably every sport under the sun that I could. I remember playing soccer and wanting to play club with a friend, and my mom was like, "No way, you can't play club soccer. You won't have enough time to play any other sport that you like." So obviously was like so mad at my mom at the time, but I played soccer, ice hockey, I played tennis, obviously lacrosse, I tried softball, I tried golf. But yeah, I fell in love with lacrosse, and I pursued soccer throughout high school, and I played ice hockey throughout high school, and obviously just took lacrosse to the next level. But something about playing other sports, they just overlap so much. So I find it very important, and so do many athletes on my teams. They all played multiple sports, and coaches love to see that. And I think it really gives you advantage in the sport that you love the most. But what I found is that I always came back to lacrosse. Like after I went to a soccer practice, I'd come home and play lacrosse. And I think that's when you really find out which sport is your favorite and where you really want to pursue it. But it's nice to be able to touch other areas and other sports throughout your year. What else? These are really good questions. Workouts, I'm getting a lot of questions about workouts. I mean, I've been posting a ton on my Instagram account of what to do for home quarantine workouts, but anything high intensity, try to change it up, make it exciting. But if you have any questions, you can ask me directly. And that's what are you looking forward to or am I looking forward to picking up any new hobbies? I was thinking about that the other day, and you have any good ideas, Lauren? I'd be happy to, jump in with you. I think, picking up books is important, always learning there. I was looking at my piano at home, and I was like, maybe I should try this again. But if you have any ideas, please share. I mean, anybody that's picking up a new hobby, I think it's important to always keep your brain sharp, but also experience new things, especially during this time. Let's see, any other questions? What do I do in my free time? You know, I try to just stay busy. I do like to cook. I watch, TV, different series. I'm kind of obsessed with Ozark right now. But, I'm looking for some new hobbies. So yeah, anybody, please shoot them my way. But I appreciate you guys coming on today. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties again, Taylor. I appreciate you having me on, and hopefully we can do this again sometime. And I look forward to, hopefully seeing you guys in person after all this. So everyone, stay healthy, stay safe, and, continue to social distance yourself. And love you guys. Thanks, Lauren. Thanks, Taylor. Thanks, Ian. I appreciate everything. Bye.